our meeting to order. Welcome, Kenny.
Thank you.
I'm going to do attendance. Mr. Block? Mr. Feltner?
Here.
Ms. Holycross is here. Mr. Keller?
Here.
Mr. Major?
Here.
Mrs. Phillips?
Here.
Mr. Sievert?
Present.
And Ms. Philibos is absent due to family emergency. You want to do the motion?
Move to excuse Mr. Villalobos? Is
I'll
that how you say
second.
it? Villalobos.
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 No.
Yeah, Ruby.
Villalobos.
Right, Ruby B.
Okay, I'm like, Ruby.
Kane seconded. Salome.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
All right. Okay, so next order of business is the election of the vice chairperson. So, I mean, this is a wonderful agenda. Thank you. So would anyone like,
Is anyone interested in the vice chair role?
Mr. Keller, you want to be vice chair? You have pretty good attendance. So you're here.
I like the diversity
Well, I
of
will-
that.
I would accept as long as everybody, it's 100% consensus on that. Again, I want to be cautious due to, again, I want to honor people of color and not,
I think we're past
I
that.
just
Well, let's
realize
vote.
that I'm, being a white male at a very privileged place, and I don't take that lightly, so I try to use my privilege to speak up for all people, but I just want to say that out loud.
That's why we would like to have you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would vote for you, John, in
So
in two respects.
I will redo my motion after the soliloquy and state that I nominate John Keller for that position.
Yeah, I as well.
Second, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You need
I think
to
also,
question.
John, you bring balance, added
Just a
diversity
question.
spiritually and culturally, and you will
Call
also
the
ensure
question.
that all minorities will be represented. So,
I'll do my best.
thank you, I appreciate it. And we'll do our best to support you as a whole committee as well.
Just say.
So we'd like to call for a vote to affirm John as our
Second,
vice chair.
I second it or vote. however you want.
All in favor?
Aye.
Roll call. We have to do the roll.
Oh, I'm sorry,
I
I'm
think
sorry,
you
sorry,
probably should
sorry.
do a roll call vote on
Mr.
the
Block?
election.
Oh, that's what you mean.
Yeah.
Mr. Feltner?
Aye.
Ms. Holycross, aye. Mr. Keller?
Abstain.
Mr. Major?
Aye.
Ms. Phillips?
Aye.
Mr. Sievert?
Aye.
There we go. All right, election.
Congratulations, John.
Thank you.
Yes,
The
well
ayes have it.
deserved.
Yeah.
It's well deserved.
I really appreciate you doing that.
Election of secretary.
Election of secretary is next. Would anyone like to throw their name in the hat? It's really Salome, actually, isn't it?
Well, she,
Our secretary is Salome.
yeah, well, the management analyst and secretary. I nominate Ms. Phillips.
I would second that.
She don't want to do it.
I mean, because it's a role that you can do and be present. It's not like you have to do extra or whatever. And a lot of us got our hands in so many other
See,
things.
I do too.
Okay, fair enough. Okay.
Sonny, you don't want to do it? You're doing a good job.
I have way too many things going on. Anyone else? Mr. Block, would you be interested?
I'm not good at writing.
Okay.
I guess the only one left.
Salome, I vote for Salome.
Can you do it? You're not a member, right?
I know Kane's super
I am
busy.
already
Yeah, she's,
helping with the minutes and the agenda, so it will be more like the elected, like role you'll have on the commission, and then what I did with previous secretary, I would work on the minutes and agenda, and I would forward to her, and she would add her feedback, comments. I know that you're all busy, so that's how I have been facilitating this.
Yeah.
So-
Kane, it's a great precursor for law school, and it looks good on the LSAT recommendation, so
Okay, if you don't want.
by default, I would move that, Kane, you have any interest?
My role will stay.
Yeah.
What I'm doing, what I was doing before, I'll continue doing those
Thank you.
things, so just up to you.
Kane, is that something that you would be interested in doing for the betterment of our group here, of our commission?
If you so choose to.
I nominate King.
I second.
Second.
All in favor, I guess?
Aye.
So I guess we
You got to do a roll call?
have a roll call.
Mr. Block?
Yay.
Mr. Feltner?
I abstain.
Ms. Holycross? Aye. Mr. Keller?
Yes.
Mr. Major?
Absolutely.
Ms. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Siebert?
Yes, thanks, Kane.
Thank you, Kane.
Kane, thank you very much.
Appreciate you having
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Salome, as well.
Everyone got a copy of the minutes, I think, from November 18th?
Yes.
I would move, Mr. Major, or Chairman Major, that the minutes from the November 18th meeting be approved as written.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed, we move on. So discussion on draft revised operating guidelines. Did everybody get a chance to read through it?
Just briefly
Or should we
overview.
peruse it now?
Yes, if we could.
If you haven't had a chance to read through it, we should come back and do it
I'm
next
fine
time
with that.
probably. Yeah. Because we really do need to look at those and make the
We need to talk
changes and
about
have a discussion, so. So I would move that we have a second reading of the draft revised operating guidelines, and between now and our next meeting, that we conduct a informal meeting to discuss the changes as set forth in the new guidelines.
Okay.
I second that motion.
I have one question. I've read through it, and I think it really cleans a lot of things up. But I'm just curious how it came about that they were being rewritten.
That's a
I
good
think there's
question.
been lots of discussions from different people. I think Grant's been involved, Patrick's been involved, administration's been involved. I think Mr. Major started with some discussions that he wanted. So I think a lot of people have been involved, but I do think it probably is gonna require more than just, I mean, I just saw a bunch of people looking through their papers, and if we're going to really change the guidelines, I think everybody needs to come back prepared to talk about it next time and probably have some meeting to answer any questions instead of just adopting them as drafted.
I agree. Is it a norm to change the guidelines without the committee? Just curious.
I haven't,
Okay,
I wasn't involved.
Oh, you weren't, okay. I didn't know who all was involved.
yeah, okay.
My first read-through, I thought it cleans things up really well, but I just didn't know how they got decided to.
Patrick or the mayor, is there anything that you could add just to help us, the reasonings of the cleaning up the guidelines, or just something to help us as we're going through it?
Sure, we read through the minutes, had talked to, Mr. Sievert filled me in because I was not able to make the last meeting. And so we just tried to look at a couple of things, look at listen to the discussion, hear what everybody was thinking. And then also, we've had about a year and a half now, so we know what's worked and what hasn't. These were brand new coming in. So the idea of 15 members, 9 seems to be a great number, and I think Todd can agree with me that 9 seems to be the most workable that we can do as a council level. I certainly wouldn't want 11 or 13 or 15. Everyone's a blessing, but 9 blessings are better than 15. So that's one example. When we looked at the consecutive meetings missed and how we're handling the excused, I saw tonight you did excuse Ruby. I'm not sure that at the beginning we were doing that, so we wanted to clarify that. It also talked about the timing of the meetings. We wanted to correct or clarify the committee structure, since we went from standing committees to more ad hoc as needed. So it was just a variety of feedback that we took and took a crack at updating them.
Awesome. I think that's helpful. So it's like best practices, essentially.
Right.
You said we, who is we?
Mayor, Salome, Todd, again, the feedback from all of you as well.
Yeah, I do appreciate that. If you look at, I think it's agenda, or number A, advising and cooperating with mayor, council, and public service and safety director. So it's opened our scope to be able to, and which we have done. So I do appreciate that it's not just, you know, it's broadened, which I think that is.
And
kind
the
of from
original five,
observation.
A through E, that was based on the ordinance being anywhere from 50 to 70 years old. We haven't really pinpointed that, but it's at least 50 years old. And so we just wanted to make it more modern and based on the activities over the last year and a half.
I think that's fair. Okay, I think that helps me understand, you know, what's going on. So do we need to vote to hold it off? Sorry.
I think we already have.
I think,
Okay.
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
I think we don't really even have to vote. I just
Okay.
would move that we take action on this at the next meeting, and if you have questions, address them to Salome or Patrick, and, I mean, you can address me. I didn't, you know, I participated a little bit in it as well, but I just, it really is just designed to clarify,
Yeah.
put things together. It's not, there was no
Right.
ulterior
Yeah.
motives or anything. It was
Yeah,
just
Yeah.
think they looked at it.
designed to, yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay with that as well. I just think it's always helpful to have that explanation, and you are an HRC member, so there was someone present in the changes, so it's fine. All right.
Okay, so historical markers and map update. Sonia, would you like to update on that?
Sure, I will update on that. So we met last night, and in meeting last night, we have decided that we are going to focus on the 54th and 55th Regiment and the Nineveh, focusing on them to marker. We will marker short-term and long-term, so we'd like to approach the city with a design we're working on with the Troy Preservation Alliance and some other historians, working on the verbiage, and Salome has done an excellent job of showing us different ways that we can display, so we're working on that proposal for city council, I believe, or at least she's working on what the next steps are. And so we're also working on revising the historical history marker application into something that we can possibly funnel people that we want to honor through. Not only us, but the community, a way that we can kind of vet who we feel is appropriate to honor. And that first person that is up to do that would be Lucille Wheat. We also, let's see, I think that's where we're at now with those three, just to get the momentum. And that's the update. So we meet again next month, and the goal is to have the design, the type of signage, how much it's gonna be, what's written on it, to propose. And Salome is also looking at, if we did want to honor a street name, what do you have to do? Is it possible, is it not? And then, again, we have to do our homework. We have to get everything lined up. Why do we want to do it? We have to, you know, get all that together, and if we decide to move forward with that, then we'll move forward when ready. So that's where we're at. If we can get those three things done this year, we should have that template ongoing to be able to honor others. And then we will do the Ohio history marker from the state for Nineveh, but that's going to be a long-term thing. That's not going to be short, a year or two maybe, to get that done. And truthfully, Nineveh's original name is not Nineveh. I don't remember it off the top, but it's like 2 words, and it sounds nothing like Nineveh at all. So Ms. Dieter is doing some more research, because again, we want to have correct history. And so again, that's where we're at.
So would this be with the QR code concept that we talked about before as well, so that there'll be more so
No,
sort of like the one
Um,
down?
Truthfully, we have not, we didn't talk about the QR concept, but we could add a QR. I mean, that would, so it wouldn't be redundant, right? As we're markering things, we could put,
Well, I was thinking more
Yeah.
like the marker like out front here, that then you can hit the QR code and it'll tell the history.
yeah. So this was just like informational, like we're gonna work with, the one will be at Riverside Cemetery, so it's gonna be a veterans bigger plaque. So no, it's not the QR tour. That's something actually we need to work on as
Yeah,
well.
that's
so.
kind of what we were talking with Terry Lynn yesterday about, like the whole history of Troy. So I think once we get through that timeline, then we can start to set up the markers. So that's going to be a project that we attack after we hopefully get these two markers set up.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, it's pretty
So we have-
exciting.
We have some subcommittees that are kind of structured to help do the work, so if you guys, ladies, would like to help,
Yeah.
we would love to have your help.
Okay.
So right now, we have to rewrite the Ohio Historical Marker application for Troy, just so we have our own process, and then other things that are being done. There's, I think what we'll do is kind of start with the history wall that they have at the Lincoln Center, and we'll just try to expand that. So we're gonna add different things that, you know, aren't central and present there, so that we can expand it, and then based on that, we can come up with the QR code.
Yeah. I have been talking to Lucille Weed's family as well, and they are willing to financially back a portion of the marker, or if we want to do something different. You know, we have this amazing park that we got electric, we have an event, and, you know, I was kind of playing around with some ideas, but statues are kind of popular lately. I'm, again, possibly willing to fund, but those are all long-term things. We're going to focus on the 3 things we can handle today, and everything else is kind of visionary. But again, we have the historians on the team. We're blessed. Judy did an amazing job talking about the history of Nineveh with MLK, and we'd like to keep bringing our historians along, and hopefully by the end of this, they'll have something that's solid enough that the Troy Preservation Alliance will never have to kind of struggle to preserve history. They can use this template. So it's kind of addressing a lot of needs, and hopefully we'll build capacity for our libraries as well. Yeah, so I think it's a win-win so far. And Mr. Keller is on the committee as well. He just was absent that night, and so is Ms. Phillips. And I believe, Kane, I think you are on that committee as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Mr. Block, if you want to be a part of it, just let me know, and I can get you on that email distribution. And Todd, I think you're still on the emails. If you're not getting them, let me know. You're fine.
I haven't got any from that committee for a while, but
You haven't? Okay, I'll make sure you're getting this stuff, no worries. So that's it for history.
Any questions about?
Yeah, just so y'all can bring me up to speed.
Yeah.
So what is Nineveh?
So Nineveh was a community predominantly of African Americans, but also of like lower economic class, and the majority of them drowned in the 1913 flood. It's where the Troy baseball field is.
I remember y'all kind of touched base on
Yeah.
it a little bit, but.
And so it's kind of been coined the community of Nineveh, but it was actually called, it's 2-part names, and it almost sounds like 2 owners or 2 companies.
Uh-huh.
So I'm not sure how the name Nineveh came about, so we need to do some
okay.
more research. Yeah, but as we learned at MLK, there was one person who took their rowboat out there and was saving people and to their demise. And there was another man that saved so many people, he received the Carnegie Medal of Honor.
Really?
Which is amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
one
should be
Caucasian, one African American, both just trying to save lives. So that reflected a beautiful community, which
Oh, okay.
that's what we're in, a beautiful community,
Yeah.
so.
And then Lucille Weed,
Lucille,
I know her.
yeah.
and what's the third one?
So, the 54th and 55th Regiment. So you
Yeah.
remember the movie Glory?
Yeah.
So they're buried in our cemetery,
Really?
Riverside.
Some of them.
Some of them, not all of them,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But enough that
Even if
we
there's
should
one, I mean,
recognize.
that's pretty amazing.
Exactly. Troy's an amazing place. By the time we get done markering all this stuff, like, there'll be no brainer of why you want to come visit Troy. Because you're going to want to see all this amazing history, so. Yep. And there's some other people to honor on that list as well. Charles Charette, Charlie Ross, Perlima Sewell. That's the only time I've ever said his name right. I'm so proud. It's a hard name for me. So, yeah. And then again, we don't want it to seem like, we did a lot of research for those people, but we want to make sure that the community has a voice in this, and then we'll have this template to work somebody through. Because, this day and age, you might think someone's a hero, and heaven forbid, there's something going on, you know what I mean? So we want to make sure that we're truly honoring people with high integrity, because good leaders make good leaders, so we want to make sure that's who we're, and so far, those are the people that we
Sound like
don't
good
have
people.
any, yeah. So, and I said Charles Charette too, right? I'll say you wouldn't let me forget that. Definitely.
I was thinking this.
Yeah, he's definitely on the list, no worries. Okay, yep.
Commission member comments. I guess that's where we are.
I have a comment.
Yep,
Are we at that stage?
yeah.
Since it sort of originated here, and I kind of burst the bubble to some people a few minutes ago, but we had a Juneteenth sort of ad hoc meeting last night to sort of discuss about the steps to go forward. And one of the issues, as you recall, we gave them some money last year to get it going. And so we had some discussions about that. And Melissa Kleps from the Troy Foundation relayed the story that Michelle Hobart, who is Peter Hobart's daughter, if you remember Peter Hobart, he lived up on the hill next to Overfield, and he would have been the brother of William. His daughter was watching what was going on, what has started with the HRC and with the Juneteenth, and called Melissa on Martin Luther King Day and said she wants to give $20,000 to the Juneteenth committee. So
amazing.
we're going to get a $20,000 donation through the Troy Foundation for Juneteenth.
That's amazing. So then,
So it is, people are seeing it.
so I
And
would
she
be,
lives in Michigan, maybe? I think, yeah, she does, she's not local. She grew up local, but she's not local.
can we do a collective thank you?
Yeah,
from the
we will.
panel here?
This is just informally
Okay.
passing out. There'll be
Perfect.
a release, and there'll be
Okay.
discussion, and she's gonna come in May and give a prep, so, but just so this
Okay.
board's aware as we continue to organize and promote that event, it is
That's
being
awesome.
done.
That's awesome.
And it is public, you know about Ruby Bridges coming, right? Do people know
No,
that?
that's,
I don't think
well,
everyone
the
knows.
people that are part of
Okay,
it.
so that is committed. Ruby Bridges, who most of you might remember from the elementary school in Louisiana in 58, maybe? I don't know, I'd have to check my year, but something like that. She's the person in the iconic Norman Rockwell picture, the
Yeah.
little African-American girl going to,
Yeah.
being surrounded by National Guardsmen going into school. So she's going to come and give a presentation on behalf of.
She's gonna be via
for
screens.
Juneteenth.
She's not coming in person,
Well, they're still.
unless it changed.
According to Trey, they're still sort of trying to figure out. But she will be
Really?
giving a presentation for
We need
Juneteenth.
to have an accurate meeting in our, can you let the chair, Janine, know, because she planned to write the grant.
Janine was at the meeting last night.
Perfect, as long as they're all there, I'm fine with that.
It was Janine, Trey, Melissa, and myself.
Oh, you're good to go. Thank you for catching us up to speed then.
So that's where that sort of stands, and, I mean.
That's awesome.
But
I like that. So she may be here in person.
they're still trying to negotiate all of that.
That's
stuff,
exciting.
So,
Thank you for sharing that.
but.
That's really cool.
That's the only
You're gonna
comments
get
I have.
That's it.
Who Day, go Bengals.
Yeah.
started.
Huh?
No, I'm teasing.
Any other?
Right, Patrick, who day? Huh? Who day?
Right.
If it's brown, flush it down or something like that, isn't that how
Do you have
it
any
goes?
comments? Did you want to?
Yeah,
What? I know the microphones are on, I'm just picking.
I
Is
got,
it being recorded?
Yes, we are.
It's being recorded. I'll gladly support my Bengals
I'll
and
say who day.
and defame the Browns anytime I can, even on a public forum.
That's not nice.
All right, any public comments? And we have no one.
John, John's been trying to say something.
John has been.
Yes.
I was wondering, Mayor Oda and Patrick, does Troy do anything with the League of City, or the National League of Cities?
Wow. That's timely. So, yes.
Okay,
This year, I'm the president of the Ohio Municipal League. And so just today, I signed up for the conference in March. So I will be there, and I saw the next meeting is March 17th, which is cutting it close for me, but I'll try to be here. But, so we are, through the OML, very active in NLC.
okay. Has the city of Troy done any diversity training with all the city employees? Or-
Yes, we did that early in 2020.
Okay.
No,
And
21, excuse me, it's 22 now, right?
The only
Long year.
I have a son-in-law that works for the city of Dayton, and he was the HRC there had my understanding was all the city employees had to go through a diversity training put on by the National League of Cities. And he, through college and being an RA and has done a lot of diversity training, he thought that it was a very worthwhile training, so
Okay, we can look into
you
that.
might, yeah.
Thank you.
Mr. President, that's pretty cool. So that's a training, right? Could mention it.
And upcoming events, just to put them out there so everyone knows. Other than Juneteenth, we have the Black History Walk coming up next month. And then also the Lincoln Center will be hosting several events throughout the month of February for Black History Month. They will host various individuals and performances that will be put on for the kids, and there will be a press release for those dates and times on Friday, so tomorrow, yeah.
Is the Black History Walk the one in conjunction with Troy Main Street?
Yes.
Okay, because that's this
Yeah, that was
That's this
canceled.
upcoming weekend, right?
No, Troy Main Street.
First Friday.
The
Is
first
fourth.
Friday of February.
February.
The event that was the 20th, the history event about the churches was canceled. Unfortunately, Patrick is sick.
Yeah, but I think we're talking about, I want to make sure we're on the same page. I think there's going to be, you would know from your daughter, but I think the first Friday.
Yes.
This
February
week,
4th.
February 4th, the event is Black, and if you start walking around downtown, there's already,
And you need to get a ticket.
5:30
It's not
to 8.
anyone can do the walk, you have to have a ticket.
okay, and there are already, I think, things up in the windows if you walk around downtown.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Troy Main Street's asking for volunteers for that night,
Yes.
if you want to
Yes.
volunteer
Yes.
to help make that happen.
Yeah, I'll be at Zeal Coaching from, I think,
I'll be at Hamilton.
5 to 8. So again, we do need some volunteers. They had quite a few openings for that. We did try to pass that information, and the information Kane was displaying through the MLK event as well, so people were aware of that. I want to add on to that, Sugar Creek Cares is one of the HRC groups that we went to meet, and they are having a potluck thing on February 20th at 6 p.m. It's going to be at Bellbrook United Methodist Church. They are talking about having 2 or 3 representatives come It's called Racial Equity, Inclusiveness, and Diversity Community Collaboration. So if you're,
February 20th?
sorry, I went, February 20th, yes. And you need to register, so I will send this out to everybody. So if you want to do that, you're more than welcome to do that as well. Sorry, I'm trying to think if there's any other comments.
I was gonna ask, the Troy Main Street event is happening, do they have a website, or is it on their website where we can go get information? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I
and
can,
there's been some social media,
Okay.
if you're on Facebook, friends with
I
them,
run
yeah,
from
they're,
Facebook.
I've seen stuff out, so, yep.
agree. I can forward the email, I'm sure Janine would be okay, that you can sign up to volunteer if anyone is interested in helping with that. I can forward it over.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
Kenny, Juneteenth event,
Mhm.
I recall that you were a really good cook on the grill,
Assistant
right?
cook.
Assistant cook.
I assisted the
So would you like to help out on the Juneteenth committee as well?
Sure.
Okay. So you'll join my group, we'll talk about food and stuff.
Yes.
He meant his food committee.
Any food committee.
Will
I'm
you
in
send
there.
me that email later, and then I'll connect them to all those groups? Thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
Awesome.
Okay, I think we are ready to adjourn our meeting unless there's any other comments prior to that.
There's no community comments,
There's no
correct?
community comments?
And I assume nobody's on
No.
Zoom that has a comment.
Okay. Thank you all for joining today. Anything else?
No, just next meeting date. Oh, right here.
Next meeting date's already there. We scheduled it out for the first quarter of this year.
Perfect. You say it for the people on Zoom.
It is
so
on the
they know.
agenda to March
Yeah.
17, 2022, 6:15, Council Chambers.
Thank you.
Yep, our meetings are every other week.
Yes.
So we have,
Every other
two
month, yes.
meetings every month. They're every other week.
I just wanted to Zoom to be able to hear. That's all.
We do not have a Zoom meeting.
Oh, I thought it
We're
was on, my
streaming
bad.
on the city website and also being recorded.
Okay, gotcha.
All right.
So once, you said meetings every other week?
Months, yes.
Oh, month, I'm sorry.
Okay.
So if you look at page 2,
Position here.
November 18 minutes, you'll see all the dates listed for future meetings.
Oh, okay, I see.
Okay? And then I will also email HRC members. I'll make sure that we get the same email to Mr.
Okay.
Knox. But if you want to see the dates, those are on page 2, minutes of November 18.
Okay,
Okay?
put it on the calendar.
All right, well, may we adjourn our meeting?
Yeah.
Yes, do we need to sign this?
A second.
Here?
Sorry.
No, we're gonna hold off to talk about it.
No. The chairperson and the secretary, does that need to be done? Okay, just wanted to make sure.
I move to adjourn.
Okay. Aye.
All right, thank you.
You should